Hello everyone and welcome to The Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Voris. A few weeks ago in one of our Vortex episodes, we quoted a line that caused a number of people to sit up and ask us for some more information. The line was this: Catholicism is the law of life, the life of intelligence, the solution of all problems. Catholicism is the truth, and everything that departs from it one iota is disorder, deception, and error. That phrase was penned by a 19th century Spaniard whose name was Juan Donoso Cortés, a brilliant Catholic mind, emphasis on brilliant and more emphasis on Catholic. He began his academic life extremely early, having completed studies, get this, for law before he was 16. He lived in the few decades immediately following the French Revolution, whose political and social philosophical errors began spreading to his native Spain. At first, he was caught up in the excitement of the new, like so many people are, but this man had the humility of soul to realize that beneath all the excitement was the ever-present danger of man-centeredness replacing God-centeredness. So he began to write, and much of what he wrote is, oddly enough, very much applicable to our own day. He wrote a collection of works called Essays on Catholicism, Liberalism, and Socialism, and it is from this collection that the above quote comes. Listen to it again. Catholicism is the law of life, the life of intelligence, the solution of all problems. Catholicism is the truth, and everything that departs from it one iota is disorder, deception, and error. That statement is so bold and direct as to make modernists and progressives skin crawl. But it is exactly what needs to be said as a direct challenge to the prevailing philosophies of the modern mind. Why? Well, for people who are opposed to all the craziness of the contemporary world, who feel like they and their values are in massive retreat and unrelenting attack from the philosophies of the French Revolution, it makes clear that the idea of liberalism and socialism, the anti-traditionalist forces, and the ensuing opposition to tradition is nothing recent, but has been ongoing for a few hundred years. What becomes clear is this: there are what we can term revolutionaries and counter-revolutionaries. The revolutionaries are those forces which overthrew the prevailing order of the Christian world, beginning with Martin Luther and excelling after the French Revolution. These revolutionaries are very much active today. Opposing them are the counter-revolutionary forces, which seek a return to the world of civility with God at the center of social, political, and cultural life. Another clarion call that comes forward is as a result of the truthful and bold assertion that Catholicism is the law of life is this, and it is aimed squarely at anti-Catholics. Catholicism was and continues to be the sole, coherent, serious, and viable force opposed to all the evils of the modern world, of the revolution. Anti-Catholics need to ask themselves if they are really willing to reject the world that defined Europe, a world created by foundational documents of the likes of Augustine, Aquinas, or Dante, not to mention art, architecture, chivalry, and so much else. Lastly, for neo-Catholics, or what might be properly termed liberal Catholics, enthralled to the spirit of Vatican II, they need to decide if they are still in continuity with the Holy Church. Since the legitimacy and authority of the Catholic Church derives only from its adherence to tradition, these neo-Catholics have to demonstrate they are still Catholic. The phrase sums up perfectly the condition of the contemporary world in which we find various forces at work, specifically the Holy Church, whose faithful adherents are counter-revolutionaries, versus a number of groups. Of the other groups, first of all, the revolutionaries who seek the total abolition of everything that proceeded from the Catholic world. Then we have the anti-Catholics who agree with some of what the Church teaches in the moral order, but draw the line there, blasting Catholic theology without realizing that the crown jewel of Catholicism is her divinely protected teachings from which her morality flows. And then the last group, opposed to the Church of the Ages, are those within the Holy Church herself, the neo-Catholics, who suffer under a false sense of reality that anything new in the Church should enjoy a certain exaltedness, while all that comes before 1965 is somehow suspect. These three forces battle against the church, and the church must remain resolute against them, fighting the three-front war until her Savior at last comes to rescue her. And no retreat, not one step back, can ever be sanctioned. After all, Catholicism is the law of life, the life of intelligence, the solution of all problems. Catholicism is the truth, and everything that departs from it one iota is disorder, deception, and error. God love you. I'm Michael Voris.